Imagine a world at war, cities burning, millions of lives destroyed, and a conflict so massive that it changed the course of human history forever. This is the story of the World War II. It all began after World War I, when Germany was forced to sign the Treaty of Versailles. This agreement imposed severe punishments, loss of territory, military restrictions, and overwhelming debt. The result: a humiliated, broken, and angry nation. In this environment, Adolf Hitler rose to power, a man who promised to restore Germany's pride, but who carried a dangerous ideology built on hatred, racism, and domination. Hitler quickly gained control and turned Germany into a war machine. Then on September 1st, 1939, everything changed. Germany invaded Poland using a fast and devastating strategy known as Blitzkrieg, or Lightning War. In response, the United Kingdom and France declared war. It was the beginning of a global conflict. On one side were the Axis powers, Germany, Italy, and Japan. On the other side were the Allies, the United Kingdom, France, the Soviet Union, and later, the United States. At first, Germany seemed unstoppable. In just months, it conquered much of Europe, but the war was far from over. In 1941, Hitler made a critical mistake. Invading the Soviet Union, it would prove to be a turning point. The harsh winter, fierce resistance, and brutal fighting began to push German forces back. The most famous of these battles was the Battle of Stalingrad. Thousands of soldiers died in intense combat, house by house, street by street. It was a living nightmare, and it marked the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, another shocking event unfolded. On December 7, 1941, the attack was devastating and unexpected. The next day, the United States officially entered the war, and military power of the United States, the Allies gained momentum. In 1944, one of the most important moments of soldiers landed in Normandy, facing gunfire, explosions, and chaos. It marked the beginning of the liberation of Europe from Nazi control, but not all battles were fought with weapons. Behind the scenes, there was also a war of intelligence, espionage, and technology. At the same time, one of the darkest chapters in history was unfolding: the Holocaust. Millions of Jews were persecuted, captured, and sent to concentration camps. There they faced starvation, forced labor, and death. Around 6 million people were murdered, a crime that must never be forgotten. By 1945, Germany was collapsing. Allied forces were advancing from every direction. With no way out, Hitler took his own life. Soon after, Germany surrendered, but the war was not over yet. Japan continued to fight, so the United States made a decision that would change history forever. They dropped atomic bombs, the first on Hiroshima, the second on Nagasaki. The explosions destroyed entire cities in seconds. Thousands died instantly, and many others suffered for years from radiation. Faced with this devastation, Japan surrendered. Finally, the war was over. It was September 1945. The world was in ruins. More than 70 million people had died, cities destroyed, families torn apart, and scars that would never fully heal. But in the midst of tragedy, hope emerged. The United Nations was created to prevent future global conflicts. Even so, the world soon entered a new period of tension. The Cold War, World War II, was not just a war. It was a warning, a reminder of what happens when hatred, extremism, and unchecked ambition take control. And even today, its consequences still echo, because understanding this history is the only way to avoid repeating it. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe, like, and share.